What's up, everybody? Stoked to have you today. Let's have a toot and we'll get into this bad boy. Got the scepter up and running, dude. So good. I'm having a really good day today, and I hope you guys are as well, man. Just been cooking juice in the Mega today on the scepter. I got this baby worked out real nice. The problems I was having with this are nil. Took care of that, man. If you're out there and you're still having problems with it, get a new spring for it. I got one super tight. Check out the throw. And it's so effortless. Today, we're not talking about the Scepter or the Omega. We are actually talking about the Atomic by MCV in the Philippines. Now, kind of a love-hate thing with this atomizer, but we'll get into all that in a minute. Let's go ahead and take it down, and we'll take it apart, and then we'll also we'll set it up. I'll show you how I set mine up. So this should be pretty cool. Here we go. Oh, that's a pretty good view there for you guys. Here it is. The Atomic. As you can see, it's beautiful machining through and through. Adjustable airflow. Now this is a 4-piece design. That's including the deck. We'll pull out the caliper here in a minute, and we'll go ahead and get all the measurements of it. Like I said, love-hate relationship here, but great flavor out of this thing. Great flavor. The engraving, you can actually read it for how small it is. Pretty dang cool, if you ask me. That right there happens to say Atomic, and then by MCV Philippines, and it's clear as day. Beautiful machining. So let's take it apart. So we have our top piece here, as you can see, spotless. Everything's countersunk on it, right here's countersunk. Everything but the air holes. We'll get into that. Let's go ahead. This top piece right here, as you can just unthreads, buttery smooth, gorgeous. Boom, just like that. So there it is. Nice and clean. 510 right here, for your 510 drippies. Now right here, here's the sleeve. Just comes right off like that. This sports your logo, and it has 1, 2, 3 holes on there that are 3 millimeters. Cool. Third piece here is this sleeve, and I'll keep it on just for now so I can show you. There's actually 2 sets of holes here. We have, I believe that one right there is the 2. There's the 1.5 and the 3, and there's 2 sets of those on there. So you can dual them up, or just, I believe you can single too. And this comes right off here, as you can see. Okay. And then we're sporting a single O-ring. Pretty fat O-ring there. And then we got the sealed base there. Phillips head screws for all 3. Now, while I got this part, I want to see if I can show you something. See that middle post? See how it's crooked? It's going to my left, your right. The center post is moved over. You see that? That bugs the shit out of me really bad. I can't stand that. Doesn't hinder it, doesn't affect it at all. But it definitely bugs me. Not so much a well here as it is just a lip on the base here, which is okay. The actual hole sits up a little bit there for you. You know, whatever you get, even the 3 sits up quite a bit, virtually creating sort of a well there. Everything is machined beautifully, except for that post is crooked. That really bugs me really bad. Okay. So let's put it together and we'll talk about the things I don't like about this. Okay. Cool. Well, I'll leave you down here in this view. Let's go ahead and put this together. We're gonna set this up for we're gonna go pretty low resistance, so I'm gonna want some big holes here. So we're gonna go to the 3mm option, dualed. That wasn't in the shot, I'm sorry. There we go. Just thread this on here. Nice, as you can see, I mean, that's just buttery smooth. Okay, cool. So we have the 1 open there, and the 2 open there. I mean, this thing is just beautifully done. Very impressed with that. Okay, let's go ahead and get to building though. Here's how I set up mine. We're gonna use, I don't know if I want to use this for this. Yeah, we'll use it. 26 gauge Canthal here. I'm really debating though. Well, yeah, we'll use this. These are the hot wires, guys. But nonetheless, 26 gauge all around. Maybe if I can lift this up just a little bit, that can help. Yeah, that looks a little better. Alright. Got my trusty tool here, and I'm going to wrap 4 wraps here. That wasn't in the shot. Let me get it in there. Now, I've wrapped 4 times around, right? And you want to take a pair of pliers here, and you want to go ahead and just put on the outside of the coil, and I'm just going to push it against the wall there, and I'm going to let off. And what that's going to do is that's going to give me a dynamite tight coil. Perfect spacing. You'd be hard pressed to tell I didn't put this on a screw, you know. Let me go ahead and clip that off here. Now, with this kind of a build where you're building right here in the eyelets, if I didn't mention that, this does have 3 eyelets there. You definitely want to make sure, like, you see coil here, right? Check out the leads. Okay? Dramatically, one's dramatically shorter than the other. Makes your life a lot easier. And also, what I like to look for on these, you see how it's got that kind of bent edge? I'm going to clip that off. You want these to be as straight as possible. Okay? Excellent. So there's one. Let's bang out one more. I'm going to go 1. You notice I'm not even trying to even space these out. I'm just kind of going around 4 times. Because if you do this, every time, nice and straight. We'll make this one a little longer, so I'm going to clip that off right there. Nice and straight here. So we have 2 identical coils here. Cool, man. And remember, both leads, one shorter than the other. And anything you're building in that has the eyelets, that's what you're going to do, definitely. You're going to want to do that. It's just going to make your life a lot easier. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen up my Allen screws here. I'm sorry guys, my Phillips head's here. I might have to blow out the water. Now, I'm going to see if I can get this in the shot. You want to make sure, see that? So you can see through them. Make sure there's no Phillips head, or God, yeah, Phillips head. Make sure there's no Phillips heads poking into that hole. You want it nice. You want to be able to see right through them. Okay. I'm gonna insert the first one right here on one side. I'm gonna go one on this, and I'm gonna go one on this side in the back too. And I'm only gonna put it in about that far, guys. Okay. So I'm going to inspect this. Everything looks pretty straight on there. And I'm just going to flip it around. And I'm going to pop it in there. Not in a rush. Not hurrying. I am simply just getting in there like that. And now you just want to kind of pull them in like that. I got that one kind of hung up here. Guess what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to pull this back out. There we go. Yeah, I'm going to definitely pull that back out. Because the way I want the especially in that positive post. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna pull that. I'm gonna pull them both all the way in to the middle like that. They're snug right there. I'm not worried about space right now. I just want them all the way in there, because then I can make my adjustments. But what I was saying about the post, the center post, he's got that little eyelet, right? Imagine we're looking right down. You're looking right down in it right now. You don't, when you put in one wire in, okay, on this coil, okay. Let's say here's the this is the coil and that's the lead. You got it in the center post right there, but right in the positive post. And you put the other one in and it overlaps like this. Try and keep it right to the side. All right. So you're gonna have your like this. Is essentially what it's gonna be like. Just try to, I mean, it's not like the end of the world, but just try to do that. That should give us a good good light up, good conductivity, good. You want nice even contact. So I got these spaced out. If I were to guess, not very much. I'm getting as close as I possibly can without touching it. Get that in the shot. I mean, you can see how close that is. Okay, nice and on the inside of the well. I kind of base everything. I kind of have this, you know, the well here. I want my coils pretty far inside there. And by the looks of things, we're looking pretty good there. Everything's snuck up inside there. So now I'm going to tighten down the center one. Sorry guys, I wasn't in the shot. The center one, pretty good. And I'm going to inspect it, make sure none of the coils move too much there, and everything looks pretty good. So I'm going to give it a really good twist right there. Good, everything looks great. Now I'm going to go on the outside one, and I'm going to do the same thing. Okay, nice and snug down there. Now, if you're using a smaller wire, like, you know, 30 gauge or whatnot, be careful when you're tightening these down because you could break your wire right clean off. So there we go. Nice and close still. Now, I'm going to take all my leads and I'm going to lift them up. Just like that. They're all poking up. And I'm going to take my tool. I'm going to reinsert here. Basically, if I had a better camera, I could show you guys. See how that's kind of moving into that post right here? See how it's kind of like... I'm going to fix that by simply putting this in there, like that. And I'm just going to pull it away a little bit. Now we're looking sick. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. I want them close, but remember, no touching. Now, I'm going to clip just like half of these off, like this, just halfway. Throwing cans all everywhere. Alright. And I'm just going to make sure, man. That's all I'm doing. And everything feels really nice and tight. So now I'm going to really get in there and I'm going to clip them off. I like to leave just a little excess of the wire. Essentially what I do is I dent the wire. Like when I'm going to clip, I don't clip all the way through it. I just dent it and then just pull it off if I need be. Here we go. Okay, so there's the build. You got the 1 and the 2 there. You can see they're close, but they're definitely not touching, and they're on the inside of that circle there really well. You know, there's room to breathe in there. It's important on these small bases, I think. Now I'm going to take the blunt end right here. I'm going to push on those little extra leaves that are kind of flopping out. I'm going to push on them against the post. I'm going to push them upwards. I don't want anything to like my cotton to snag on anything here. Cool. And then on this, sometimes if you're not careful, the Phillips heads can come loose. It's really weird, at least on mine. So what I like to do is take my finger and rub them, and none of them are moving. So we're solid. Let me have a toot here, and then we'll light it up. Excellent, excellent, excellent. The Omega's performing a treat, man. Definitely. Oh my god. Jeez, I had that down pretty tight. So let's go ahead and thread this on here. Nice and, you know, every thread is super smooth. Now, what we're looking for here, guys, is that it glows at the same time. Both of these should light up pretty well. And I'm not, you know, firing that button, you know, just pulse it, give it a second. Yeah, I think we're looking really good there, guys. That's all I know. I'm good with that. And with that little heat, I've actually set the coils. Notice how they change color here. You can actually see them a little better now. I have set the coils, and I know they're glowing beautifully. So now we're going to make our way. Oh, sorry guys, I'm always unprepared. I'll be back. Alright. 100% cotton, as always. Let me get some of this out of here. Now, I've actually come up with a pretty dang cool trick here, guys. And I'm really hoping you guys will try this out. Grab a cotton ball. Alright, we brought this down a little bit more, so you can see that. Take, like, the smallest piece ever. Like, this is like hardly anything, right? Even less. And I want you to lay it right on top. Okay? And now, I want you to just go like this. And then I really want you to work it in. Essentially what I'm doing is I'm not, I don't even know if we could even call this a hybrid wick. This is just something I've been doing recently, guys, and I've had amazing results with. I'm getting more puffs per drip, for sure. I'm definitely dripping less than I used to. As you can see, I mean, it really doesn't look that much different, right? So let me grab a hook here. I've got this really thin wire that we'll use for that. and I'm going to go ahead. I really want this tight, you know, because if you put too much of that cotton ball on there, which by the way is pure cotton, pure cotton, guys, it won't go through the wick, through the coils very evenly, and that's what we want. Because with that method that I used, without this cotton threading on there, it fits tight then. So we got to be kind of careful here. If it gets too tight, we're going to pull it out and we're going to redo it. So, oh, I totally almost forgot. Okay, so here's what we do. Alright, this is going to be kind of tricky to show. We're going to take it and I'm going to thread it between this one and this one, in the middle one, the top one and the middle one, which is pretty much underneath the opposite coil. I want to thread the cotton through. I'm going to build like a little nest for my cotton, for my wicking material. Oh no. You know what? Guess what we're going to do? We're going to save that for another time. So if you see that you got a little too much cotton on there, take it off. Yeah, I'm going to show you that technique, guys. It's a pretty cool thing, but I got too much on here. Let me see if we can thread this through. Now, don't force this. Okay, we're great there. It's going to be snug, but you don't want to be jerking on that coil, because we know it's set, we know it's perfect. Let me turn this so you can see it. We know that we got our Phillips heads nice and tight in there. There's no reason to damage our coils. Look how little this is. I mean, this is, if you were here, and you don't need that much. Like that actually is enough right there. And you want to kind of roll it like that. And then just kind of, it's weird. The cotton's like Velcro to this stuff. This is a really good technique though. And while it takes longer to do, like I totally recommend this. I've been having really good luck with it. Because I kind of haven't really talked about it because, you know, I didn't know if it was going to be good or not. And I'm telling you guys, I'm having a really good flavor. I don't know, you guys tell me if we could call it a hybrid. I don't know if we call it really a hybrid. We're going to go ahead and see how we did here, and hopefully we just go right through. Yeah, we're great. Like I said, it was tight, but not like crazy super tight. Cool. So now we got our there's a lot of cotton here. We'll be trimming that off, but you can kind of see how we did that there. You see how these little frillies kind of coming off the cotton. That's going to hold a ton of juice. Okay, so now here's how I set it up. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap the loop over that right there. And we got to push that down in there because that center post is crooked. So let me go ahead and we'll see if we can, hopefully this gets in the shot. This might take a minute. The thing is though, is, you know, try not to hurry too much. There's no big hurry. Just take your time and get it in there. If the posts were straight, this wouldn't take too long at all. There we go, we're getting there, guys. Because it takes a minute. That might be good enough. And then what I did is, you know how I have that looped around there? I'm going to pull on one of these leads until we can kind of snug it up. And I'm watching the coil the whole time. Great, that's nice and snugged up there. Now, I'm going to go ahead and clip off these. I left just a little head on there, see that? It's still like in the circle, see that? It's like barely outside, that's okay. Now we're going to do the same to this side. Loop through. And watch how easy this goes in. Pull that like that. Special thanks to Vape Mom 27. We'll get into that. He gave me a great technique for getting this thing to keep quiet. Okay, so and I'm just pulling on my lead till it snugs up there. Sometimes you need to pull on both. Sometimes you just need to pull on one. And I'm gonna look for it. Leave a little head on it. And that's it. There it is. You can see how it's kind of frilly. Let's go back up top because we're essentially done here. Anything I need to show you, I can just show you up here. But you can kind of see there's the coil right there, and it's pretty close. See that? Like it's close to the pole, but it's also going to be really close because of the head I left on there to the air hole, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But you can see all these like little frillies poking up everywhere because that cotton we kind of put inside of the yarn. Amazing flavor. So yeah, man, that's the build. That's how I build mine for the most part. Now, if I'm not using 26 gauge and I'm using 28 gauge, I will do the exact same thing. 4 wraps, and that produces, and then I use 28 gauge and do the 2mm air hole. Let's juice this up, man. This is Grumpy's Hooch from SNS Mods, my favorite juice, man. But yeah, hopefully you can see that before I get it all wet. You know, you got the kind of circles going on here around these 2 poles. It sucks that one's so bent, but usually after I get it wet, I can slop it right down in there. So let's talk about the, while I'm juicing this up, let's talk about we'll measure it too, the cons on this thing. The O-ring, that god-awful O-ring, it's terrible, guys. It's bad news. That center post, it shouldn't be crooked, man. You guys know how much this is. You know, like, for that price, man, you can get a lot of different addies for that price, man. You know, the crooked post, for one, I mean, it doesn't hinder anything, it just bugs, you know, like, for this build, look, that one's like kind of, see how that looks? You're gonna see it, you're gonna hear it in a minute. It's a whistling beast. It's about a fern away from being a duck call, man. So what do we know? We know that, see how it's kind of, look how juicy it is, man. It's holding so much, there's none on the base. Oh, there's a low right there. We know our coils are firing sweet, because we already tried those out. Let's fire it and see what kind we're getting here. Not bad. Not bad for being flooded. So, alright. We need a drip tip. Let's use the stubby here. We need a stubby. Alright, so now you want to line up your air holes with your coil. Right over it. It should be, you should, when you look in your air holes, you're not going to be able to see it, but you should be able to look right in there and see your coil. I think we're pretty well soaked. Let's go ahead and have some vapes, man. And like I said, you're probably going to hear this. Hopefully not. One thing we definitely need to do is measure it, and I'm always unprepared. I'm sorry, guys. One second. Sorry, guys. That's my bad. No, one thing for sure. Just from vaping it. It's so bad. It is so bad. Before we have some more vapes on it, let's measure it. That's always good practice. Measure your stuff, man. If you got one of these, when I got mine, you couldn't find them in stock anywhere. 0.15. Now, these are hot wires. You're going to get a totally different reading. You're going to get right around 2. The hot wires just have a very low ohm to them. They're a copper and nichrome alloy, I believe. Definitely big thanks for the info on that from, I believe it, I can't remember exactly who it was, but definitely thank you for that. So 0.15, that's definitely a low ohm. I'm using the 30 amp Panasonics. There's on tasteyourjuice.com. Phil Lissardo, he has a great battery section. Get on there and check it out, man. A lot of helpful info on batteries. Batteries are important as they're know your batteries, man. So, like I said, like I shouted out Vape Bomb 27 about this thing whistles like crazy. Now you can't hear it now because I got the head of this cotton strategically placed close to the air holes. Now if they weren't there, it would be menacing loud. You wouldn't be able to stand it. It's like, it's so bad. But right now, it's not going too bad. Good, I'm glad that worked. I pushed the head of the cotton back, and you can see the total difference it made. But yeah, man, delicious flavor, amazing flavor. That's one thing. The flavor is amazing flavor. Now I want to show you something with this, with the Atomic. I want to show you, I want you to notice, look how close, I need better light here, look how close those are to the top. I mean, they're literally maybe 1.5 mils away from the top, and they are set down. I got them screwed down all the way. Let me pull out the caliper here. We'll get some measurements for you guys. Let me put my drip tip so we can have some toots after. Now, if I'm going to measure right in the middle here, 18.6 millimeters right in the center. The top, 18.5. I'm assuming the bottom might be the same. Yeah, 18.5. Let's measure right underneath the O-ring here. 14.8 in the base of it. Right on the base is 17.2. So there's all the measurements for it. So yeah, I mean, it's just a little guy, and it's like right in the middle, and it looks good on everything. It looks so good on everything. Besides the whistling, the terrible O-ring, and the crooked post, I love this thing. It moved. So, you know, be aware of these situations. Be aware of these things, guys. I mean, you know, be very aware of that if you're going to purchase this. There's a lot of options at that price range. You know, keep that in mind. So yeah, man, that's kind of my take and how I set up the Atomic. I hope that you guys can take something from this. You know, if you guys are using this, I hope it's working out for you. It's my go-to for pretty much everything. It's just been working for you, especially if you use cotton. I mean, if you use that tool and you keep those wires nice and tight around that probe, you should have no problem threading, you know, a piece of cotton, fold it in half, perfectly through. Because you don't want your coils to strangle your wick material, ever. You just want it to snug it up. This video is definitely running way long. Thanks for watching, man. I definitely appreciate it. Until next time. See you guys.